Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to today's Market Outlook. So, today is a very beautiful Tuesday, 30th of June 2020. For yesterday, which was a Monday, it was a day for currencies to perform in terms of movements and volatility. So, we're going to have a look and see what happened for yesterday on Monday, later on in the technical charts analysis section. So let us focus on today. Today again is a Tuesday, 30th of June 2020. It's going to be a busy economic calendar today, as early as this morning at 9 a.m. local Singapore and Malaysia time. China released manufacturing purchasing managers index numbers, which came in at 50.9, but better than market forecast of 50.4. Okay, so I guess so far today, markets has started off on a positive footing. So later on in the afternoon, we will be having the UK's quarterly final gross domestic product data at 2 p.m. And towards later on in the afternoon at 2:30 p.m., we will be having the yearly retail sales numbers from Switzerland. The Eurozone will be announcing core consumer price index numbers at 5 p.m. and moving towards moving towards the late afternoon. Member of Monetary Policy Committee member Mr. Andy Haldane will be speaking at 6 p.m. Towards the evening, if you guys are trading the Canadian dollar or trading the oil prices, watch out for the Canadian dollar data, which is the monthly gross domestic product numbers coming out at 8:30 p.m. So regarding tonight's 8:30 p.m. data, markets are forecasting the Canadian GDP to come in at negative 12.5%. So I believe tonight's actual results should beat this, should be better than this negative 12.5% easily. Okay, so other forecasted data for the UK final GDP data, quarterly GDP is forecasted to come in at negative 2%. I think it should come in plus minus in line with this forecast of negative 2%. So moving on towards the evening session, we will be having the Chicago Purchasing Managers Index from the US tonight at 9 p.m. and at 10 p.m. we will be having the consumer confidence numbers. FOMC members John Williams and Lael Bernard will be speaking at 11 p.m. and also at 11:05 p.m. respectively. So their comments may just have a slight impact on the markets. However, for the US trading session, again, we expect markets to start to move in a certain direction as early as possibly 7 to 8 p.m. tonight. Okay, so other interesting data which was released over the last 24 hours. First of all, for the last 24 hours, we can see the US dollar consolidating recent gains, and for yesterday, the US dollar number one came down from its 4-hour high. Came down from retraced from the 4-hourly charts high of 97.65, and back on the 1-hour chart, we can see that for yesterday, the US dollar was mostly weakening during the Asian and UK trading session, and only towards the US trading session at about 1600 plus 5. This is 2100 hours. So you will add 5 hours if you are in Malaysia or Singapore time zone. So 1600 hours would be the server time. So 16 plus 5 would be 2100 hours. So at 9 p.m. yesterday, the US dollar strengthened tremendously. Okay, came back up to test the recent highs. Okay, so we're going to have a look at how the US dollar influenced the movements of the UK pound and the euro dollar shortly. And let us go back to the events and news. So for Monday, the main event or the main data was surprisingly the US pending home sales data, which improved by a record 44.3% on the month of May. Again, this was highly unexpected, and this exceeded all forecasts, all the market forecasts that markets was expecting. Okay, so just a quick look at the economic data released yesterday. So again at 10 p.m. on Monday, local Singapore and Malaysia time, pending home sales numbers jumped by 44.3%, way better, almost more than more than a twofold increase from market expectations of 18.9%. Okay, so this was a huge boost and could be one of the factors that strengthened the US dollar. Okay, so yeah, that is one of it. And moving on to today. Okay, other relevant news, or I would say significant news over the last 24 hours. First of all, China approved the Hong Kong security law, and this will likely increase tensions between the US and also China, and possibly even other major economies or other countries such as the UK or the Eurozone against China. Okay, so details of the security laws will be released, I guess, in the next 24 hours or so. However, this was the latest events. So the Hong Kong National Security Law has been passed by China's National Progressive Committee, and this means that things could get a bit tricky between China and even the Hong Kong residents, or even China and the US and other major economies. So, in addition to the passing of the Hong Kong National Security Law, China also enforced visa restrictions on US personnel. This is actually in retaliation for what the US government did in terms of restricting visas for Chinese officials who were also involved in the Hong Kong national security laws. Okay, so again, things are getting a bit dicey between China and US, as US further responded by suspending certain regulations that was affording preferential treatment to Hong Kong, which includes the availability of export license exceptions. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be a sticking point for, I guess, at least 1 or 2 months until everyone digests what the security law actually means for Hong Kong or for China, and hopefully everyone will come to terms of the new security law and move on with their lives. Okay, so let us move on to the technical charts analysis, where we will be having a look at how currencies move on Monday. Okay, let's go.